making time. If it hadn't been for the ruckus coming from a cottage by the side of the road. Squire Lovell was making his rounds, hiring to bring in the apples, when he heard it. The squire investigated. Old Jeanie was about to beat her stepdaughter Duffy. "You're lazy thing!" "I'm not lazy, and my spinning is the best in all the parish." This gave the squire an instant solution, for he thought that Duffy was rosy-cheeked and quite fair. "Duffy, will you come away with me?" Duffy answered by jumping up onto his horse, and they rode off. Duffy had grand dreams of how posh her new life would be. She dreamed it all the way to Trove. But when she got there, she found that the old housekeeper was nearly blind and could hardly see, and the dust was thick as they passed. The old housekeeper was glad for some help to arrive, and she led Duffy upstairs to a room in the attic. When Duffy looked in the room, she saw it had wool from floor to key beams. Truth be told, Duffy could neither spin nor knit, and now they were leaving her alone to produce a fine specimen of her work. "Curse this spinning," she cried out. "The devil can come and spin for all I care." Duffy was quite handy in the kitchen and could make herself to clean quite well. And when there was a rustle from behind the wall of wool, Duffy was happily curious. A little gentleman dressed in all black stepped out from behind the wool. "Duffy, let me spin and knit for you too." "Why would you do that?" "Because I want to help you, Duffy. Just spend your time on becoming a lady in the squire's home. Oh, and for all this, if you can't guess my name by the end of 3 years, you will have to come away with me." Duffy immediately struck up the bargain with the little man in black. He said she only had to wish, and every wish would be fulfilled. Duffy wished for yarn, and the finest yarn was produced. Duffy wished for socks, and socks so befitting the squire were in the attic. As days and weeks passed by, Duffy wished for shoes, socks, coats, shirts, even underwear. Everything that she wished for were as fine as silk and as strong as leather. She could do what she pleased when she pleased. It pleased her very much to roam through, to giggle at the gate with other young women and clean in the kitchen. Young men of the country began to seek after Duffy. The squire, not wanting to lose his pretty and useful girl, married her himself. She became Lady Lovell. 3 years passed by quite quickly, mind you, and the squire and Duffy still couldn't find out the name of the little man in black. She knew if she could name her fear, it would have no power over her. She took a woolen jug of the squire's best cider down to a clearing where she had heard that hobgoblins and witches danced. She set it down and hid herself. Just then, every fairy, witch, and hobgoblin began to come into the clearing. They made a flame and began to dance around it. And even Duffy's devil joined the dance. He took so many swigs of the cider that he began to sing a little song. "Duffy, my lady, it's you I'll claim, for you will never know my name. You will never know. What? My name is Terry Top. Terry Top Top." Just then, the squire and his hounds ran through the clearing, chasing a hare, and disturbed the festivities. All of the witches were so mad that they chased him away, followed by the fairies in pursuit. And Duffy, well, she skipped home laughing. By the time the squire got home, he found Duffy in the kitchen. "Oh, Duffy, you should have seen it! I burst upon a scene full of fairies and witches and hobgoblins. They were so mad at me, they chased me nearly home. I hope this doesn't cause us any mischief in the future." No matter, matter. I must go fetch my dogs." And he was off again in the night. Duffy ran upstairs to the attic, for 3 years was up that very night. There was a rustle from behind the wool, and out stepped Duffy's devil. "Duffy, I have served you these 3 years, and now you must come away with me." "Serve me you have, but I fear that your country is too hot for my complexion." "Duffy, if you can guess my name, you will not have to accompany me." "Let me see. Is it Lucifer?" No, only a servant." "Okay, I'll guess again. Is it Beelzebub?" No, he's only a cousin. Shall we go?" He was about to seize her roughly when she said, "I believe that even you will have to admit that your name is Terry Top." He stormed and raged. "How could a lazy girl like you defeat me? But wishes do not keep." And he disappeared. The squire, out gathering his hounds in the moor, felt his socks drop away from his legs. His coat and shirt disappeared from his back. Every piece of clothing that Duffy wished for vanished. When he finally got home, he was luckily still wearing his underwear. "You should not have disturbed the festivities. I fear, Duffy, as much as you love it, we cannot have you spin anything else. We must hire it out to someone who's not as vexed as us." Duffy did not mind at all. Now she could cook and clean in her home without having to do a stitch of sewing.